I am a Celtic Reconstructionist, or more accurately, a Gaelic Reconstructionist. And although I'm not an elder in the Celtic Reconstructionist movement, I hope to provide some insight into what Celtic Reconstructionism, or CR, is all about. The CR community has gotten together and created an excellent FAQ, about Celtic Reconstructionism, and it can be found at www.paganoct.com. I'm going to provide a link to it on the sidebar, but in case you can't get to the sidebar, that's where you'll find it. Now, because I'm not an elder, I'm going to pretty much restrict myself to the material that you can find in the FAQ and essentially read directly from it. But I'm going to skip over a lot of the detail that you can find in the FAQ. So if you have more questions about CR, want to learn more about it, I recommend you go check out the FAQ. It has a lot more information than what I'm going to present in this video. So Celtic Reconstructionist paganism, usually abbreviated CR, is a polytheistic, animistic, religious and cultural movement. It is an effort to reconstruct, within a modern Celtic cultural context, the aspects of ancient Celtic religions that were lost or subsumed by Christianity. There are some survivals of pre-Christian Celtic traditions in the lore and folk practices of the Celtic countries today and in the diaspora. But after centuries of Christian overlay, most people do not find these folk traditions by themselves to be a whole or viable spiritual path. So by studying the old manuscript sources, regional folklore, combining the information with mystical and ecstatic practice, and working together to weed out non-Celtic elements that can arise, Celtic Reconstructionists are nurturing what still lives and helping the polytheistic Celtic traditions grow strong and whole again. In CR, language is very important because the word Celtic applies to a group of related languages, and the cultures that developed in the communities that spoke those languages or still speak the languages. Celtic identity is not based on genetics or blood, but on being part of the linguistic and cultural group. So Celtic Reconstructionism values the study and preservation of Celtic language and languages, as well as participation in the living Celtic cultures. We believe that language is the key to understanding a culture's mindset. And although we don't consider it a prerequisite to participate in the Reconstructionist community, most serious CRs very frequently dedicate themselves to studying one of the Celtic languages as part of their practice. And I would say that the reason that culture and language studies are very important to us is because the religion of the Celts is not separable from the culture of the Celts. There's no clear differentiation between the two. So you don't have to be Celtic to practice Celtic Reconstructionists. That is, you don't have to have Irish blood or Scottish blood or what have you. It's like you don't have to be Asian to be Buddhist. You don't necessarily have to have Celtic ancestry to practice Celtic Reconstructionism. Although it is true that a lot of Celtic Reconstructionists do have Celtic ancestry, and that is what attracts them to it in the first place, is not a prerequisite. As polytheists, we believe that the gods and goddesses are not merely aspects of a greater archetype in a way that you normally often see in Wicca or other neo-pagan religions. We believe that they're real and separate individuals We believe that cultures have their own unique deities and religious beliefs about them. It doesn't make sense to us to consider all gods one god, all goddesses one goddess, or something like that. In fact, many of our gods have conflicts between themselves. Celtic Reconstructionists tend to focus on specific Celtic cultures. So, for example, the Gauls, the Welsh, the Gaelic cultures. Specifically, I am a Gaelic Reconstructionist, so I honor the gods of ancient Ireland, and other Celtic Reconstructionists would honor the Welsh gods or the Gaulish gods, for example. We also honor the spirits of the land, the local deities, if you will, and the spirits of our ancestors. We also believe in spiritual beings that we call outsiders. These are beings that are often hostile to us and that we need to placate in order to live peacefully. And a major part of our practice is making offerings to the spirits, to the gods, to the ancestors, to the outsiders. And we do this for a variety of reasons, but primarily because it helps build bonds, it helps build relationships. Just as exchanging gifts with loved ones helps to build relationships, or exchanging gifts with friends, so too does exchanging gifts with the spirits and the gods. We receive gifts from the spirits and the ancestors and the gods in the form of wisdom, forms of protection and goodwill. And we give gifts such as our praise, our honor, foodstuffs, and precious works of art and other items. Our ethical system is based on an outlook of virtues rather than of morals. The distinction being that virtues provide a set of ideals that we try to live up to, as opposed to ethics and morals, which tend to set minimum bars of expected behavior. So these virtues are things such as truth, honor, hospitality, and courage. So that is CR in a nutshell. It only barely begins to scratch the surface, but at least I hope gives you some idea of who we are and where we're coming from. Again, I strongly encourage you to visit the Paganoct website, or if you'd prefer, you can send me your questions. I'll do my best to answer them, or pass them on to people who are more qualified than myself. So may peace and prosperity go with you, and thank you for listening.